Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gauravakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Tat Sat. So, I should carry on with the Sikshastakam, I think. We did last time the third Sloka. Maybe we can chant this time. Join me in chanting the Sikshastakam. Today is the Ekadashi day, Sattila Ekadashi, I think. So please join me in chanting Sikshastakam. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamahadavagni nirvapanam Sheyah kairava chandrika vitaranam vidyavadu jivanam Anandam buddhivartanam pratipadam purnamritaswadanam Sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Sri Krishna sankirtanam Nam namakari bahuda nija sarva shakti Tatrarpita niyamita smaranena kalaha Etadrishi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi Durdaivam trisham ihajani nanuragaha tṛṇād su-nīcena tarori sahiṣṇunā amāninā māna-dena kīrtanīyaḥ sadā hariḥ na dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmanishware bhavatat bhaktir bhaktavai tukittvai Aginandatanuja kinkaram patitam vam vishame bhavam budau Kripaya tava pada pankajastita dhuli sadrisham vichintaya Nayanam galadashrudharaya vadanamagat gadharudayaggira Pulakair nichitam vapukada tava nama grahane bhavishyati Yugayitam nimishena chakshusha prabhrishayitam Sunyayitam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me Aslisya va padaratam pinastu mamadarshanan marmahatam karotu va Yata tata va vidatato lampato matprananatastu saevana paraha Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Sikshastakam ki jai. Please read the meaning. One of you can please read the meaning of any one of the verses or the verse we are going to take today. That I think is the fourth verse.
Maharaj, we extensively dealt about tṛṇād su-nīcena only, not more about the tolerance and amāninā.
Can we read the fourth verse, please, now? Can you read the translation of the fourth verse? Anybody?
O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your costless devotional service, birth after birth.
Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Yeah, I think you're making a comment about not having dealt with tolerance. tṛṇād su-nīcena taroriva sahiṣṇunā amāninā māna-dena kīrtanīyaḥ sadā hariḥ. Humility is something that we saw to some extent last time. Tolerance is being spoken of in comparison to a tree. Sahiṣṇunā, the capacity to tolerate, which today in modern terminology they call it resilience. I don't know why they call that, but tolerate means to not actually give in to reacting. Tolerate means to actually refrain from thinking and acting in a particular way that is detrimental to your spiritual life, that is detrimental to somebody else's spiritual life, that is considered to be socially not acceptable. So these are some of the things that people would do in toleration. But somebody would tolerate also for the sake of an evil desire. Somebody will tolerate also as a strategy to take away from you something greater. Something can also be executed by somebody in toleration so that he gets more benefit for himself. So it is not that tolerance is in and of itself a quality which is great. All sorts of political people tolerate also. But their toleration is a strategy for getting for themselves votes, getting for themselves advantage, money, power, control, etc. Anyway, tolerance is being spoken about as a virtuous quality, which means that by practicing tolerance, you develop certain faculties within which are very useful to you, even materially. The Britishers were very tolerant at one point of time towards religion. In the colonization that they did, actually they had a whole thing called toleration. If you have heard about the famous philosopher called John Locke, Lockean philosophy is very, very famous. He's famous for political philosophy. And British philosopher, he influenced thinking to a great extent. There was a great uprising because part of the colonization of the Britishers was got to do with evangelization or spreading of Christianity. That was one of the main agendas, inside agendas. Apart from their white racist understanding of things, this religion was an important part of the agenda. So they were converting people like nothing in India. And after some time, there was a rebellion from the Muslim side, from the Hindu side. And that was recognized by many Britishers in Britain as stealing away the natural rights of people and they should not be forced. So generally speaking, they faced a lot of problems. So they came up with this political philosophy called toleration. You are allowed to practice your religion. We should not disturb your religion in any way. So they said, yes, fine. But their toleration was so scheming. Toleration was so much oriented towards their evangelization, conversion, Christianity, everything. You will see, I don't want to go into the details of it. So this is an example of, they called it toleration. Tolerating the heathens, tolerating the idolaters, tolerating those who are not Christians. This is how they are strategizing it inside themselves. So come to think of it, many times tolerance is used for different purposes. But here, when we say tolerance, we actually mean that developing that understanding that I don't want to be tickled and kindled by material nature into acting under the three modes. The three modes push you through the influence of the mind. And a person who has got tolerance means he does not take up that pushing. Vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam, jihva vegam, udaro upastha vegam, yetan vegan yo vishayeta dhiraha, sarvam abhimam prativim sasishyat. This beautiful shloka in the Nectar of Instruction. That vega means the pushings. He is able to tolerate the pushings. So we are all under subtle pushing from deep inside on the level of the mind and intelligence. Then there is gross pushing on the level of the body for sense gratification. Then there is on the level of the ego pushing. Oh, who do you think you are? I am the one in charge. I am so and so. I am great. So on all levels, we need to practice tolerance. So the example of a tree is taken here, that the tree is the most tolerant. tṛṇād su-nīcena taroriva sahiṣṇunā. Taror means tree. Sahiṣṇunā means tolerant. So I remember this example that there are many stories concerning a tree, but this one is very interesting. It is mentioned that the tree is tolerating. It gives you shade, it gives you fruits, it gives you a place for you to rest. It gives you to many, many insects and birds. It gives them a home. It gives you buds, flowers, fruits, branches, leaves. And people come to the tree and pluck off the fruit, take off the flowers, chop off a branch and break a twig. All these things are actually painful to the tree because it's the body of the tree. Except maybe if you sleep under the tree, it's not so much of a pain for the tree. But you do all these things to the tree never protests. It simply does its seva to you, giving you fruits, giving you shade, giving you firewood, giving you whatever. That's why the example of a tree is taken. The tree is very special. Not only does the tree do these physical things to you, the tree is also instrumental in a very intangible, subtle way, keeping the soil together, giving you the rivers, giving you a climate. The trees actually suck in carbon dioxide and give out oxygen. There are lots of things going on. A tree does a lot of seva. Even we don't see all that, the seva, that we don't see the connectedness of the tree. We just chop the tree down mercilessly, because we are not educated on what the tree does to us. But the tree tolerates. It's mentioned that the axe is speaking. I have come to chop you down. I do it in such a nice way that from one of your own branches, my handle is made. So I'm one of you. So please allow me to be part of you, because my handle is made out of you. And therefore, it mixes with a tree and then chops the tree down. This example is taken as people who look very much like yours, belonging to your community, or part of you, or something, are the persons who will really become your axe and chop you down. This world is based like that. So the tree has got all sorts of enemies, but the tree remains very tolerant. Taroriva sahiṣṇunā means that although there is every reason for me to protest and scream everything, I simply depend on Krishna and tolerate. The Avanti Brahmana story comes to my mind in the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, where you can very nicely read that story. I think I've told you that quite a few times. The story of the Avanti Brahmana is a Brahmana who was very stingy, very learned, very intelligent and smart. But what happened is that he had a windfall of money, got a lot of money. And so he became very greedy and he completely changed. When some of these material possessions come into us all of a sudden and there's, like I said, a windfall, you suddenly change. Your character changes. Everything changes. In what way? What happened is that he became very involved in planning what he will do with the money, and he became very stingy and possessive of the money. All his wife and children and all did not get anything that they asked for. He kept it possessively, stingily, like a conjuice, without spending it. So wait, I have to plan how to invest, how to do that, how to do that. We should not waste money in these things. We should invest in like that. He didn't give for all the simple, desires that the children will have, the wife will have. He was not willing to satisfy. They were very disappointed with him. One fine day, somebody stole all the money. So he lost all the money and nobody could enjoy that money. So he was devastated, was completely devastated. And his wife and children at home just yelled at him and said, worst things possible, they said. So it is simply not possible for him to continue to stay at home. He was forced to take sannyas and leave the home. And when he went outside, people all came to know that this is that rascal who had all the money in the world and never entertained his family members even with a little bit. So they got angry on him. They started doing all sorts of things to him. They would, sweep the floor and put all the rubbish on his head, dump it. Some kids used to come and urinate on him. Somebody used to pass gas on his face. The children used to, when he was going to eat, do all sorts of crazy things. There was absolutely no peace for him. And everybody was attacking him in various ways. Nunam me Bhagavan tushtaha sarvadeva mayo guruhu yenunita dashamyetam nirvedaschatmanah plava. Very famous Sloka. He did not react to anybody doing anything to him, passing urine on his food, passing gas on his face, dumping garbage on him, taking away his kamandalu, taking away his walking stick. Elderly person, sannyasi, he was harassed like nothing. Kids were doing it to him. Women were doing it to him. He was, so he tolerated it. His philosophy, he understood, is, I deserve all these things and more. This world is like that, right? What can you expect in this world? It's all disappointing. But we should not invest in it. If we invest in it, we get more disappointed. So it is better to simply tolerate, because it is the Lord who is doing all these things through the agency. He is doing these things to me because Nunam me Bhagavan tushtaha. He is very pleased with me because I have renounced. And he's taken away my wealth also. He only did it so that I will renounce. Sarvadeva mayo guru, the Lord of all the demigods. Yenanito dasham yetam. This dasha, this particular situation that I am in, is brought about by him only. Nirveda chatmanah plava. Plava means boat. So that I will get onto the boat of renunciation and just cross over this material world. That is why he is doing this thing. So he also adjusted his head in his intelligence and affirmation so nicely. He said that Nayam me, what is it? These people are not the reason for it. They are, neither is the Devas reason for it. No, nor is my horoscope the reason for it. Mana param karanam āmananti samsara chakram parivartayet yat. It is my mind which is programmed to do it and accept it in this particular way, and they keep me rotating in the, samsara chakra. Take birth again and suffer again like that. So I am not going to fall for this. I am going to completely keep quiet and not react to this. This is ultimate tolerance he practiced. Similarly, Jada Bharat also. So these are great examples of tolerance. So is Haridas Thakur. That prostitute came to him and tempted him so much. He was able to tolerate it, knowing fully well who is this person, whose instrument is this person, what is the goal of my life and what I should do and what I should not do. It's very much fixed in the self. This is amazing. So these are examples of extreme tolerance. Extreme tolerance. So I would say that we may think sometimes that we cannot be so tolerant. Yes, we cannot be. We all have different levels of tolerance. Sometimes experience teaches us tolerance. A lot of them, when they get married, they really learn a lot of tolerance, forced to learn. To bring up a child means you have to be very tolerant. You have to give up your own desires. You have to make sacrifices. You have to be able to get up in the night at 1 o'clock when the kid cries. And then you have to clean up the kid because it'll pass stool at 1 o'clock and urine at 1 o'clock. Clean up the sheet, make the fresh bread, put the child again, and then it'll smile at you. All these things is fantastic lessons on tolerance. Life is filled with instances of where you have to show tolerance. You're getting trained to accept Krishna consciousness. That's the way we should take it. If one who protests against these things can never win, it's just his disturbance will increase like nothing. Taroriva sahiṣṇunā is a very good example, and these great personalities are wonderful examples. World is filled with envious people, Prabhupada said. They will always attack you. They will insult you. They will try to, Maya will try to tease you and make you drop into the intolerance. But you should simply keep away and keep the association of devotees, keep the association of the chanting of the holy name. Then it's possible for us to be tolerant. So that's a little mention about tolerance. And the next thing that's stated is amāninā māna-dena kīrtanīyaḥ sadā hariḥ. Not desiring respect for yourself, but 2, willing to respect others. This is a strange statement somebody would say. What does it mean to say amāninā māna-dena? I don't want any respect. Why? I don't think of myself in a great way. I don't think great about myself. Only then you will think that I don't want any respect. Material world is filled with people. All of them are looking for popularity. Look at the social media, it's filled. It encourages that very much. It encourages your thirst for popularity. It encourages you to seek acceptance and validation from so many people, and lulls you into a false sense of greatness because somebody says, wow, great, fantastic, what amazing. Everybody glorifies everybody. And you get lulled into a feeling of getting not only respected, you get accolades, praises, everything. And sometimes falsely also. Because what do they lose by giving you a little praise, just a little click? And you have put in place those type of things also, so that people will put it together. A clickbait, baiting them, come and click this for me, right? So it's not very interesting that a whole population of people become servants, hanging their tongue out. Give me some praise, give me something good. And you lap it up. You just lap it up. For a lot such people, it's their toleration level towards any type of insult or any type of degradation of the type of perception they have about themselves is intolerable for them. Intolerable. So not seeking respect, but giving respect to others is an amazing quality. It's something that you'll never see in this world so easily. It's impossible. Haridas Thakur was like that. He was a personification of this amāninā, māna-dena. He maintained that I am a nobody, and not artificially. He ingrained it into himself. He programmed himself with that. So these are all the things that devotees do who are very serious about Krishna consciousness. Toleration, not seeking respect, which means that often you'll be insulted. You're insulted often. And that insult is not taken by you seriously at all. Why? Because of the humility you've cultivated, and because you're willing to excuse and tolerate somebody else. Not seeking respect is a great austerity for materialists. Most materialists are, like Bhagavad Gita says, dhambo means great abhiman. They think very great about themselves. So a devotee, actually, he considers himself not respect-worthy. And that is what attracts Krishna. That humility attracts Krishna. I am not respect-worthy. What is there to respect in me? I am not even getting pure devotion to Krishna. So I am a useless guy. I'm very low class. This is how the Vasudeva Brahmana felt, the leper. Because he struck with leprosy, it was easy for him to have very low opinion of himself. Your self-esteem is very low, especially if something like this happens to you. So nobody will respect you, and you can't expect respect. You're simply put in that situation where you have to digest it. So sometimes material nature teaches us amāninā, māna-dena. So you're forced to beg, you're forced to be isolated, you're forced to be ostracized from society. You have such a disease. A leper Vasudeva, he is a wonderful devotee. And he came all the way to see Lord Chaitanya in Kurmadesh, but he was late. And he regretted that in a different way. He said that I am very low class. I am incapable of attracting the attention of Lord Chaitanya. There are so many other wonderful devotees, but I am just a nobody. So what do you expect? So wretched am I, as such sinful person. Like that, he started deeply feeling about himself. That is why I did not get the darshan of Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya manifested himself in front of Vasudeva Vipra immediately. And he could see, Lord Chaitanya said, Vasudeva, I am here for you. And he had full darshan. Not only that, the Lord embraced the leper Vasudeva. When he embraced the leper Vasudeva, He became a beautiful personality physically. He looked wonderful, handsome, beautiful complexion, everything. Instantly, as his body changed, he immediately exclaims, no, I don't want to have this body. I'll again become proud. I will lose my Krishna consciousness. Lord Chaitanya assured him that, no, you won't. You always remember me. And you keep preaching this Krishna consciousness. Give Krishna to others, give the holy name to others, and always remember me. You will never be in this danger. He assured him that. Although you have a nice looking body, completely opposite to what you had earlier, this is a miracle happening. He said, don't worry, you will not be taken away by your material opulence, by your asset. Material asset will not carry you away. So, material assets give you respect in this world. Janmaishwarya Shutashibir Yedamana Matapuman. You are respected mostly for material asset. It's such an amazing thing in this world. Nobody respects you because nobody knows you, because they don't know themselves. Everybody turns around respecting the material assets of people. Oh, he looks beautiful. Oh, he's got a lot of money. Oh, he's got a big position. Oh, he's got this, that, like that. Janma Aishwarya Shutashi. Yedamana Matapuman. They become mad possessing these things. Because if in lieu of themselves and their own identities, they, possess these things and think these are very great. This is how we all function. We're all hardwired to function in these ways. We think great about ourselves. We can't tolerate a small criticism, which is good for us, right? So these are great qualities, because only then will you learn, will you progress in understanding about yourself. Had low self-esteem, not materially alone. He had low self-esteem even about his own devotional service. Generally, he was very low, but he was very high on devotion to Krishna. This is what you must understand. It's not cheap, low esteem. It is very high self-esteem, because I know the self. I know as the self, I am a servant of Krishna. Only that matters. I am nobody else. I have no other identity. So actually speaking, devotees have a high self-esteem because they know they are part and parcel of Krishna. But that is not accepted in this world at all. That is considered to be very cheap. Who are you? Ah, that's okay. You are no threat to me. If you think you are part and parcel of Krishna, something like, go ahead. Think. World doesn't consider you in any way valuable, although you are of great value to Krishna. When you are of great value to Krishna, you become the most valuable person. Because if you can stand by the value system of Krishna and score great marks, then you are successful. Vasudeva Vipra scored wonderful marks. That's why Lord Chaitanya manifested to him and embraced him. Why? Amāninā, māna-dena. I can respect others. Even without getting respect for myself, even if I'm insulted, I will never fail to respect others. This is called the culture of respect. In Varnashrama Dharma, in human society, you have a culture of respect. That is a very sophisticated way, even materially, behaving amongst individuals. Welcoming them, respecting their individuality, speaking highly of them, giving them offerings of food, water, a place to sit, speaking good words, and then respectfully, patiently, tolerantly hearing from them, conversing and catering to their needs. All this is a culture of respect in human society. Elders are always respected, even if they are doing something wrong. The children just keep away, they don't comment. That's a culture of respect. They may discuss it in hushed tones. What does this mean, this behavior is like this? But they never come forward and challenge that leader or that elder person. Because they know there may be reasons for it. I don't know. And they always never give up their respect for the elders, for the king, for the father, for the mother, for the teacher, for the elders. They will never give up their respect, even though they have reason to do so. That is called the culture of respect. Prabhupada practiced that very much. You can see his behavior when he goes to see his senior god brothers, when he goes to see important persons. He would say, I've seen his instruction, that my Guru Maharaj went to meet Lalit Prasad Thakur. I think he's one of the sons of Bhakti Vinoda Thakur or somebody who's still available at that time, was very old. And he told Prabhupada that I took fruits, I gave him some dakshina, and I did. Prabhupada is praising, he said, yes, that is the way. We should always be respectful to elderly people and those people of great lineage. But that Lalit Prasad Thakur had some difficulty in accepting certain things and everything. But still he said we should respect, because he's Bhakti Vinoda Thakur's sister. In the same way, Lord Chaitanya respected Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's connection with his son-in-law Amogha. And he came to save Amogha, although Amogha was offensive to Lord Chaitanya and to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And Amogha got cholera or typhoid or whatever. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had renounced him. He said, you get lost, you rascal, better you die. Let my daughter become a widow. That was the extreme feeling he had. But Lord Chaitanya came all the way to Amogha's house. He came to Amogha's house and he saw Amogha on his bed, almost going to die. And he kept his lotus hands on the chest of Amogha. And he explained to Amogha that the heart is a place where Krishna should reside. It's not the place where lust, greed, anger, and everything should reside. So please wake up Amogha and chant Krishna's names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And Amogha woke up and did that. Feebly he started chanting. And slowly he chanted more and more in front of Lord Chaitanya. And completely he was chanting. Then he rose up from his bed, started dancing. And Lord Chaitanya also danced with him. And then Amogha fell down at the feet of Lord Chaitanya and grabbed his lotus feet and said, only because of you, please excuse me for my offenses. I'm such a fallen person. I've dared to offend you and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, my father-in-law. In this way, he begged, and Lord Chaitanya told him, hereafter you chant the holy name and you be a devotee. Do not commit these type of wrongs. Then he told him that I have come to you only because of your connection with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Because you are related to him, I have come to give you mercy. Right? So having a connection with the devotee is very important. It attracts mercy. You can get a special consideration. That is why we are all stuck to Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, because we know for sure that he is very dear to Krishna. So these are some simple things about that. Lord Chaitanya had this culture of respect. No matter you've been offensive, maybe you don't know, nobody trained you. I like to do that because you are associated with so and so. This is culture of respect. Lord Chaitanya exhibited that, and very nicely Lord Chaitanya exhibited the culture of respect. Ramachandra Puri was offending Lord Chaitanya, trying to find mistakes with him, a great pointer of faults. Lord Chaitanya, as he comes, would immediately pay obeisance to him and say, you're my guru's god brother. I should respect you as guru. And he was very careful with Ramachandra Puri. It didn't give Ramachandra Puri a single chance to criticize him. Even then, Ramachandra Puri criticized him. He was looking so much for a chance. His culture was so good that Ramachandra Puri could not find a reason. So, such are the strains of the culture of respect in Vedic society. We should be understanding this nicely. Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. Since I've been asked to come to a better place now, because here the mic is going big, loud, right above the temple. But I am open for questions while I adjust my physical situation. Any questions, comments? Hare Krishna, can you hear me?
Yeah, Maharaj, we can hear you.
Yeah, it's 8:30. So I thought I'll take some questions or comments.
Yeah, Maharaj. Can you hear me, Maharaj?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Maharaj, I got one question, Maharaj. You just give an example of Avanti Brahmana. So from that, I got one question. Like Avanti Brahmana, the whole thing started because of his miserliness. Like that, it's just given an example. So
yes.
For a devotee, when we are practicing and Krishna consciousness, and we deal with lot of wealth, some things which is earned wealth and which is belongs to Krishna and other things. And what are the checkpoints we have to keep so that we will not become miserly and we lose people also, we lose our Krishna consciousness also.
The simple thing is to understand.
Yeah,
the simple thing to understand is that everything belongs to Krishna. Isavashyam idam sarvam.
Maharaj, you are muted.
I muted. Can you hear me now?
yes, Maharaj.
Yeah. The simple thing is Ishavasyam idam sarvam. Everything belongs to Krishna. Your hard-earned wealth you may think belongs to you. It actually belongs to Krishna. And you're a custodian of it temporarily by virtue of your karma or something. So you can use it for your maintenance and what is your requirements without overindulging. And at any time, you should have that understanding that it doesn't belong to me. It's been given to me and for my facility. And so if he takes it off also, I should not be bothered. Because it never belonged to me. It's like you imagine that your father's car is left in your place and your father tells you, you can use it, okay, I'm going out of station and I'm going to be in America for the next 6 months, so you can keep it, you can use it and you can this thing it. But he has never said it belongs to you. He has said that it's my car, but you can use it. So you take the car around, you use it, you slowly become very attached to the car because it's like a whole 6 months and you service the car, you spend money on it. You gave, for servicing, you looked after it and everything. And slowly you become so used to the car, you become very attached. And lo and behold, one day, you've completely forgotten your uncle, everything. He comes back. And he said, can I have my car? I've come back just yesterday. What? Your car? What do you mean? It's a very natural thing. Oh, yeah. Once upon a time. Can I pay you money for the car, something? Because it was a second-hand car anyway, and it was spoiled anyway. And I've been using it anyway, and I've got used to it anyway. Can I? No, it's my car. I just gave it to you for use. You understand that? You never understood that it is his car. Because you got used to it so much that you possess it. This is just a very crude example how we tend to possess things that don't belong to us actually and belongs to only Krishna. How we tend to possess these things. So in the same way, money, asset, any type of asset, you look good, you speak good, you're from a good family, you're educated, you have wealth, you have good relatives, you have all that. A devotee thinks is my asset given to me for Krishna and should use it in Krishna's service. This is ideal. This is the way Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami did. Many great devotees did. Even Prabhupada did like that. Because cultivating these things is no loss. It's only gain for you. Somewhere in the back of your head, you're being told by Maya that, don't give it off here. It is yours. You work so hard for it. The program running on you is that. But the truth and reality is, it belongs to Krishna. It belongs to Krishna. This is what is Krishna consciousness. Cultivating that. The Upanishad says that very nicely. If you can see everything around you and yourself as belonging to Krishna, you will never have hatred for anybody or anything. How to deal with hatred is see everything connected with Krishna. Is the solution given by the Upanishad. Okay, so this is my little contribution to your question. Yes. Any other question or comment? Any other question or comment? Shureshwar Shrikant, you are here in Coimbatore or back in the Gulf?
I came back, Maharaj. I am here only, Maharaj.
Welcome back. Yeah. Any other question or comment?
Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah.
Maharaj, in Devotees Association, sometimes we have some arguments and some misunderstandings and all. And at that moment, we may tolerate it and we may leave it. Some things happen, and after some time, we may tolerate it. But later, it's difficult to forget those things and again come back to good relationship with the same devotee. Our relationship doesn't become very good. There will be some strain in the relationship. So though we tolerate some things, again to come back to a good mood, it seems these two things are different, Maharaj. So,
they're not different. You are programming yourself now. What you did now is writing a program. We have a problem, but it is difficult to forget it and come back to this. You're writing the program actually right now. Why are you making it difficult by your own statement? This is how you're working. See, the mind is working on you now. What it's telling you is, it's very difficult to go back to the same situation. Of course, you're right. Because you want scope. The mind wants more scope for control. So you're repeating. You're a spokesman of the mind. You're a spokesman of your mind. You're not your own spokesman. Just now, you revealed it. So, when Prabhupada said independently thoughtful thinking, he meant independence of the mind influencing you. Right? So, whenever you read the Bhagavatam, you'll get inspired with this independently thoughtful thinking, which means it is devoid of the influence of the material mind. That's what the devotees successfully live on. They don't allow themselves to think. There will be always that. It's not that it will not be. But you just shut it up. You don't feed it. Because that's a program running in you. You have to neglect it. No, that's not good for my spiritual life. If I have that type of an attitude towards this devotee, it's going to damage my spiritual life. It's always good for me to be positively oriented and depend on Krishna and be happy with this devotee. Of course, if the devotee repeatedly does the same thing, caustically, toxically, then you don't want to look at him at all, don't associate with him at all. Better. Right? Then you take a different decision also. Like Jadabharat took a decision, I'm never going to associate with any of these fellows. Come what may. I have nothing against them, but I don't want to associate with them. They'll involve me and get me to be a stakeholder in this material world. So I have nothing against them, but I don't have anything to do with them either. He kept away. So without feeling of hatred, you can keep away. If you have hatred and you keep away, then that hatred will eat you, and your keeping away is not successful. So these foundational things happening inside you should study. How your subtle body is working. Why these things are happening to you. What is this feeling, where it came from? What is the source of this? Is it lust? Krishna explains that it is lust to Arjuna when atakena prayukto yam papam charati purushaha anicham api varshneya baladiva niyojita. Why sometimes I'm forced to do things even without I don't want it. Sinful activities, why do I do? And Krishna explains the reason is lust. It's impelling you from inside. It's sitting in these places and pushing you. It tells that this is the enemy sitting here in the following places. Watch out. Same way, if you study where these thoughts are coming from, how they are originating, why they are coming, you will see that it is material nature functioning. It's not you. Don't mistake it to be you. It is just that you are sold out to material nature. We are all instruments of Maya. So what can we expect? Krishna consciousness teaches you to be independently thoughtful person who can watch yourself inside struggling prakriti sthani karshati inside Maya and see you in a different light. That's how Prabhupada saw the world. Okay. Jai. Any other question or comment?
Thank you, Maharaj, for the wonderful lecture.
Haribol. Okay. Haribol, Hare Krishna.